Chicago with a keyboard and some tea. Lives a man with a plan as clever as can be.
I never get tired of this song. Thank you, Stacy.
For plugins that go zing. Now WooCommerce dances every time he pulls a string. Hey, evil genius, he's got a plugin for that.
Good morning, everybody. It's Fence. It is Friday, August 15th. Again, we are here on our office hours. Let's see if we can figure out how to turn this off. There we go. This has been a really, really amazing week. I was just talking to my longtime pal, Jack Arturo, who is recuperating in Germany from a foot injury while training for marathons. Hi, Jack, if you are watching this. Welcome to the rest of you guys. Hopefully you can say hello in the comments before we get going too far. Let me know if everything looks good. I'm very excited that I was able to get today started without much delay. I'm on a pretty good feeling this morning. I went out with a bunch of longtime pals. We have our annual steak night down in the city, and I had not drank bourbon since November when I had my other surgery. And I got to say, it's not that I miss it. Good morning, John. Good morning, Lloyd. But I was just having a good night last night, and I did not borrow from today's happiness too much in that regard. So the fact is, moderation worked out, but I can hear it in my voice. So today we're going to carry on. And for those of you who've joined up already, John, and I know Lloyd was talking about it, I'm going to be releasing today. I'm working on the last bit of the MinuteLaunch AI club system so that you guys can participate and join with me in what I'm going to show you today. But today I'm also going to do kind of loosey-goosey, a demonstration of some of the things, including this week, my good friend Robert Cairns is celebrating his 600th episode of the SDM show. And I made a video for him. I want to share with you guys the whole process. A couple minutes ago, as I was preparing for the show, I was slacking with Jack. I don't know if Jack's in there. He's probably busy coding. But as he's sitting in his bed recuperating, I had sent him some clips about what I had done as a goof with Google's Veo 3. And I want to explain how this fits into the whole ecosystem of what I'm talking about. Because what the point was is that Jack obviously is an enormously successful developer, and he's the author of many, many plugins, but the most popular one, WP Fusion. And he's working on a new thing, Echo Dash. And I guess I triggered something in him because it was so cool. He started building a desktop tool very similar to what I'm doing as a WordPress tool for a Google Veo 3 workflow to be able to produce content. And I'm going to explain to you how this all fits together into the business, because as I've discussed with many of you, including yesterday, a lovely conversation with Lloyd, the business that we are in now is changing because of the tools. The tools mandate what the business is. And there has to be also some thoughtful consideration towards what is the end goal here versus what the end goal was a little while ago. So in order to make this happen, let me set up a couple things. And I am actually going to give you the Tim Ferriss peek under the kimono, as he would say, and it would make me crazy. I'm going to actually show you a lot of my desktop stuff here, where I have a team of coders who've been working diligently through the night, 24/7. Okay, so let's first set this up, because, you know, I have to, even with StreamYard, I have to dance around. I assume everything sounds good and looks good, because nobody has said they can't hear me. So thanks for that. Let me share the screen. I'm going to share this gigantic window, which I think is going to be okay. Normally I don't do that. I wonder, I'm wondering what I can do here that makes this less obtrusive. Let me just do this real quick. I'm going to get myself off of here. Let me see if I can add this to the stage and share this. Remove this one, add this one. Look at that. That didn't work out well. That was the wrong thing to share. Let me add it to the other stage. I apologize that I have to keep doing all this dancing around stuff. To be honest with you, I wish it was easier, but I have multi-monitors, and even to this day, I end up with this just weird set of clicking around every single time. So I have to edit this. I'm going to stop that screen. I'm going to reshare, share screen. I have to do entire screen. There's no other way to do this. So sorry, this is going to be a little wild and crazy, but you're going to have to manage this. Let's see if this gives you a sense. So what I was referring to a moment ago, and then I'll get this down to something you can actually see and read. What I was referring to a moment ago is I have a team of agentic coders who are working for me for free. I mean, they probably get paid in some kind of virtual currency. You know, they're sitting around the virtual bar talking about it. But the idea is they are working. I can't make this any bigger for some reason. That's about as good as I can make it. They're working around the clock building the business for me under my direction. And this is a concept that is really very meta. So I'm looking down here because I have my controller out of the way. What I want to say to you is that when I show you what I'm going to show you today, it hopefully for you is going to emphasize two things. First of all, the business that you're in is no longer about these manual tools. And number two, which is really kind of wild to me, that it feels to me like we're in a AI simulation ourselves. Because when I work with the tools and I start creating stuff, especially the video, let alone working with these men and women, virtual men and women who are coding stuff, is that it feels 100% like I'm dealing with real people. And it just occurs to me that I really can't tell the difference between whether my life is their life and somebody else is like sending me instructions through some kind of mystical, magical thing in my dream, in my waking state. So not to get really weird, and I am not drunk and I am not high right now, but I am saying that this does cause me a moment of pause to the larger thing about what is it that we are all doing and how are we doing it as human beings. On the actual practical business side of things, what this means is metaphorically, and let me switch the screen, and then I'll go back to something more realistic as far as sharing. What this means more realistically to me is that on a business level, take us to the gold rush of California, 1847, I think it was. Let's see, gold rush, California. I think it was 1847. Not that it matters. I just like to know this. Yeah, roughly. Sometime around Sutter's Mill, gold was discovered. 1849 is when everybody came. So somewhere around 1847, 1849. What happened was gold was discovered. Word got, good morning, Karina. Word got out to New York. Holy shit, there's a ton of money to be made mining gold over here in California. So everybody had to get out there. And in those days, of course, you had to take a choo-choo train or wagon. So it took months to get there. The people who went out and grabbed a bunch of picks and shovels, I'm sure there were exceptions to the rule. They generally made money for a short window of time. But there was a lot of heartache, broken backs, shooting your neighbor. I mean, there was movies made about this that are dramatic. The people who made fortunes, did two things. They laid the tracks, which was the oligarchs, for the trains to come. And the ones that were normal people who made fortunes were the ones that put the stores up, selling all of the stuff to the people racing to get to California to build, to mine for gold. So the miners themselves, yeah, maybe a few of them were rich. Most of the people who made the money were the people making the stuff for the miners. And so today, let's think of that in terms of the business of what the MinuteLaunch brings to the table. Because what I'm suggesting is, unlike my good friend Jack, who is building a tool that's a desktop tool and so forth, I'm like, listen, I'm building the tools so that my clients and customers can use them in WordPress and leverage what WordPress can do. Because it seems to me that if we can simplify and automate many of these drudge works and bring the latest and greatest technology into that ecosystem, ready to use, push button simple, that what I'm able to do is give a vertical system of marketing, multi-level marketing, where I provide the interface, the tools, the inspiration, the technology, the psychology, everything is necessary for the layer of people who can, like you guys, open up your own stores for your own clients or become intermediaries for providing things to others who want to do the same. And when you think of your business, instead of it being like, I'm just going to move pretty pixels around on a WordPress site, that is not the business anymore. The business now, like I was discussing with my filmmaker friend after last night's, he gave me a ride after last night's steak night, was building a relationship with businesses who understand that you are now the gateway to an amazing world of stuff that would be really only possible if they had the technical chops of somebody like Jack Arturo or like me or somebody who was just spending all their waking moments doing coding and stuff. This is also importantly a WordPress specific benefit, in my opinion, because unlike the let's build it on our desktop, let's use it in GitHub, let's do vibe coding, let's do Google Firebase, let's do, Lovable and all these like vibe coding ice cream machines that make one time a good flavor and the rest you never know. With the WordPress stuff that we're doing here, it is 100% built upon the framework and the base and the history of WordPress. And I've put it into a methodology that is 100% scalable. Think of it like the country store that we're building has a set of tools and components that anybody can choose from, will be able to choose from, to build something new on their own or with the very same bots built into it to come up with solutions for themselves and their clients. And because they will be built on WordPress, it offers all of the ownership and control benefits. It offers all of the stability benefits. It offers all of the same price economics benefits that we'll get into in a second. All right. So if there's any questions, let me know. Otherwise, Jack is actually sending me. Oh, thank you, Jack. Thank you. I'm talking about you. Okay, so let's go into a dive where I am going to show you a couple things that inspired me. One of the things is this, it's not like super important, but I want to show you this thing that I built yesterday and how I built it. And so I have to set the stage by opening up a regular browser, which by itself could be an event. So what I'm going to do is I'll split off a browser tab here, and I'm just going to start from scratch so I can actually make this happen without too much fuss. I want to put my tips in. I love StreamYard, but I got to tell you that even with the pro plan, for some reason, it makes it very difficult for me to just have a bunch of things queued up that I can share, which I'm not sure why. Most of it is pretty awesome. Okay, so I'm going to do this one. Let's hopefully add that to stage. I got to remove this one. That's the annoying part. I wish I could just share it immediately. All right, so let me show you what I did yesterday. And this is before we get into the actual MinuteLaunch stuff specifically. Yesterday, I went into Flow. And if you don't know what Flow is, Google has released a series of tools that are available in a variety of locations. You can get to them by specifically subscribing to the thing called Veo 3, which is their AI video production stuff or imagery, or you can just get it through Gemini, which is pretty cool too. So if you go to gemini.google, notice here in the upper right corner, this is my personal account that's pro, but if I switch to another account like this one, I'm ultra. This allows you, you'll notice down here, to have a video option where you can try this out with Veo 3 and do a super cool clip. So there is a cost to this, but it comes with, I think, a special offer. It's like $120, $140 for 3 months, and then a $300 free credit. It's absolutely worth every penny of it, just for what I'm going to show you. But then I'm going to explain to you how I see how this might tie into the business of what we're talking about. So with this, you can just make any Tom, Dick, and Harry prompt, which if you're a rookie at this is going to be okay, but it's not going to be fantastic. You need to be as descriptive as possible. Okay, so let's try something like this. The scene is 3 guys who are in their mid-50s sitting around a table at a very popular steakhouse restaurant. There's lots of people in the background and waiters. The lighting is dim. The tablecloth is white. The 3 fellas are all talking about how delicious the steak is going to be. And then they have a big toast with some bourbon glasses and say, here's to tonight's dinner. Okay. I didn't give descriptions of the guys, so let's do that. The guy on the left is about 58 and wears glasses and has a little bit of beard stubble. He's wearing a light shirt. The guy in the middle is wearing a blue suit and a blue shirt and has gray hair and black horn-rimmed glasses. The guy on the right is wearing a light blue shirt and is very muscular and has no hair on his head. Okay. Now, let's see if this generates anything. Why am I going through all this trouble? I want to explain to you that the world we're in is no longer, I mean, you guys probably know this. It is no longer like what I was explaining with my filmmaker friend. We are not going out and taking stock images from real people and editing them together. We are not using animation tools or rotoscoping tools or video effects tools. Everything is now a prompt with words, which is weird, but it works. And the flow that I'm referring to, which is going to be relevant, is here's a concept while this is editing this. And by the way, it's way faster, I found, to use Flow directly than Gemini, but this is a very easy way for you to get to it. Here's the concept. Imagine this situation where I have got a business. Let's say the business is supplements. I've got 70 different supplement products, and I have 4,000 plus people who take the supplements. Each of those people is willing, in exchange for some value proposition, to give me information about themselves. They're willing to say, I'm 58 years old. I ride bicycles. I have arthritis in my knees. My head hurts in the morning. I can't tolerate aspirin, whatever it is. 4,000 people willing to, through an automated system, give information about themselves. You know where they live. You know things they do. You know enough about them to have an automated dossier. Here's the catch. When you want to market to them or people like them a specific product, the old days, the old ways was Google's just said, oh, you can get an audience of general people. And Facebook said, maybe for $5,000, we'll let you have an audience of people to throw your money at. And I'm saying that is not the way to do it. The way to do it now is we have tools where those people as users in WordPress can essentially have their dossiers be used to immediately, within this right now, took 1 minute maybe, but let's say under 30 seconds in Veo, with an API, be able to directly create an 8-second clip or multiple 8-second clips, put them together as a personal advertisement to a specific group of people with specific attributes about specific things, and then send them specifically through tools that we have, like Fluent CRM, or posting it to social media. Or like I'm going to show you, I created a tool to automatically set up a flow to YouTube so that I have YouTube working for me, creating content as part of this club opportunity. But let's start with the basics. So as I'm sitting here yammering on, this is what it made from my prompt. Now, I'm going to give you a hint. I know where I was yesterday because I'm going to show you what it was. I just described this. Let's see what it did. By the way, can you guys, John or somebody, can you hear when that plays? Is it playing through my settings? Because otherwise I'm going to change my settings so it does system. Hold on, let me see. Audio. Automatically adjust stereo audio. I want to know if it allows the audio to go through. Can you guys let me know if that's happening? When I played that, can you hear the thing? Yes? No, you cannot. Okay. Let me see if I can fix that, because that would be super awesome. It's always, I'm always liable to break something here. So let's hope I don't break something. Automatically add presented media to stage. I think if I put the video in there that I can do that. Hold on. This is where I'm starting to feel I'm starting to feel like I wish I was better at using this tool. But no sound. All right, let me see if I can do this. If I intro video, let me download this. It's worth downloading. It's only probably 2.5 megabytes. Okay. I'm going to now add this to the stage. Maybe. Video file. Steakhouse toast with friends. There we go. Not too bad. That wasn't bad.
Place has the best ribeye in the city. Oh, I am ready for a feast.
Me too. I've been looking forward to this all week.
Well, gentlemen, here's to tonight's dinner.
Okay, I'll play it one more time.
I've
Did you
heard
guys
this
hear
place
it that
has the
time?
best ribeye in the city. Oh, I am ready for a feast.
Me too. I've been looking forward to this all week.
Well, gentlemen, here's to tonight's dinner.
Hopefully, yes. Okay, fantastic. Okay, I want you to observe a couple things. First of all, the more I describe the scene, the better I describe the scene, the better the video. Now I'm going to freak you out a little bit because I was actually a little surprised by that myself. Let me remove that from the studio and let me add to the stage. When I was in Google Gemini here, you noticed it allowed me to add files. And I had, where did I just see that? Where did I just see that? Oh, I had in Flow. This was yesterday's steak night, a picture, one of the pictures I uploaded as an asset to Veo. This was the actual thing from last night. I put a static picture from last night. Let's download this. I put this into as a static picture Veo, and I said animate it. So this was not video. This was just like a picture. It wasn't a great picture even, but I'm going to add this so we can look at this together here too. And what I thought was awesome about this was us actually doing the thing, right? I mean, we didn't actually toast. I just told it to toast. So what's fascinating is if I kept working on the description, I could probably get it. I mean, those people in the AI world were way better looking, but I could probably get it pretty close. But the point of the story is that whether you start with a static image or whether you start with video or whether you start with a concept, you can get to something that is in 8-second clips very quickly. And the prompts that you use make it better and better. So I'm going to carry on with the story and say, when I was making the output for my friend Robert, I went over here and let's reverse it backwards because this is where the inspiration for the tool came in. I was over here and I'm going to scroll through all of this stuff because there's a story here as well. I essentially did a couple things. First of all, is I had it make an intro banner. You don't need the sound on this. You'll see this when it's done. But I prompt. By the way, something interesting is this is me from a static picture, but you guys watch my mouth. This does not look like me when I talk. I don't got like this. The mouth is like oddly wrong. That's what's weird about AI right now. It's uncanny valley. But for people you don't know, I made 5 or 6 clips of Canadian people talking about Robert, including some little girls, some weightlifters, some women at dinner, and a big presentation at a. And I gave it the prompt that said, what to say, how to say it. I did what I just did now. I put those together. I downloaded them along with me and turned it into a presentation. But then I thought on a goof, what if I wanted to spontaneously say thank you to my buddy? My buddy Jack was not feeling well. So I wrote a prompt to Jack Arturo, hence why I'm talking about him. Get well, Jack. Here's the scene. Bunch of girls on Bondi Beach saying, we miss you, Jack, et cetera, et cetera. And the output is predictably awesome. But then I thought, how quickly can we iterate on this? So I just changed to my friend Vince, who's often here. I'm going to have lunch with him today. Different girls saying, hey to Vince. And then I thought for my girlfriend, Ileana, hey, Ileana, here's some guys. And then I was like, well, what if we change the shape of the bodies and the bathing suits? I just was playing around plus size models because I have a client, we talk about Marie who's doing that. What if we were able to make advertisements, information, education? So I just did a bunch of iterations. Now, this one really blew me away. I thought, what if we could make full-blown yoga instruction with prompts? Because I can set up the tool to create a series of clip generators and then edit together automatically. So I, professional yoga instructor, you can see how long this is. It's quite detailed. And this turned out amazing because you don't need to hear her saying, she's talking, but she's actually doing the poses according to what I prompted. Then I said, well, change it to a 22-year-old version of her. See what happens. Same thing. Amazing, amazing results. She's doing the act, or warrior pose and down dog and, child's pose, all that stuff. Then I took a static image to see about the same thing I showed you before. I took an OnlyFans AI type model, like just some very attractive non-human being. And I said, what happens if you animate them from the static picture, like I did with the guys in the bourbon? And I very quickly got this thing, like a perfume ad or something. Right. And then I carried on just as a goof to see, what if I change the yoga lady to a guy? It's all good. It's pretty amazing. So pause for a second. First of all, in my head, I'm like, these people live in this world. I mean, like there's some yoga guy right now. I wonder what he's doing this morning. Because I feel like somehow somebody programmed us and they're wondering what Spence going to do today. But the second part is, so now we've got the clip generation. The Veo tool itself has what's called a scene builder, which can be done through an API or directly. You don't need to worry about this stuff specifically. I just want to show you because it's so impressive. In addition to the stuff I've shown you before, like I've shown you how we can make my voice in 11 labs. I create a song. I've shown how you can write copy, make products. All of this stuff is here now. Scene builder essentially lets you take multiple clips, and if you don't have a video editing capability, just put them together in here is one scene, which is super convenient, but also for an API is very helpful. All right, when all of that is said and done, what does any of it matter? Well, what it matters is let's go to MinuteLaunch AI voice. Let's go to the website. Where are we today? And for those of you, John included, who have participated, the club is happening as promised. I've made really crazy advances on it. So it is going to be released officially for you guys today. I can promise you that. Let's do something here. First of all, let's scale this interface down a little bit. I'm showing you some of these tools and toys. One of the things that occurred to me was not just making the interface more awesome, but the business of the interface, the business of the apps and everything else. So one of the things I'm doing today is making it possible so that you guys can participate on multiple levels in the business of the app creation, app distribution. I want to talk about that in a second, but what I mean by apps is right now under the hoods, this is a WordPress box. We have plugins that you normally can install with a zip file, and it's fine, but we all know, because I've complained about it endlessly, the pain in the ass of the repository and the business model and the gaming and all that bullshit. And I thought, wouldn't it be cool if two things happen? First of all, if we could just bypass most of this game stuff and we could just have an app distribution model that's democratic, much like I did for the Media Hub, where everybody and anybody could get the stuff from a centralized store that either is branded to them or is filtered out by them. So even their own customers can get stuff from there for them, but that you could also peer-to-peer create, share, sell stuff that works on top of this operating system layer. And what that means is that you could have this multiple level wholesaler to you as an intermediary retailer to you as your customer peer-to-peer, or even you peer-to-peer, or everybody peer-to-peer, because Apple made it very clear that having the standardization of the platform was essential to success. Where they screwed people and they got in trouble for it recently was that they messed around with people like the ones who made Minecraft, and they essentially created a monopolistic problem and a 30% overhead charge even when they weren't doing anything for it. What I'm saying to you guys is I'm building a system now, and I should have the beta or alpha of this launched this weekend, that will allow any of us to make stuff that works properly on the system with the tools that I'll give you to make that, but that it can be distributed directly through your own store or through a store that's centrally located that has attention and traffic. And that in doing so, you can either make stuff for free to distribute your customers. You can make branded stuff that you sell directly, and your customers can use it on your site or download it directly to their copy of the operating system. Or you can, and this is where it sounds like Apple, but it's not, or we can put it into a filtered out, hosted by me, sold by me from the central store model. But in order to do that, I have to take on obviously the risks and the costs of people buying directly. And that often is a pain in the ass because, of course, Stripe and PayPal and everybody else charge the money for the fee, regardless of whether there's a refund. So there would probably be something like a percentage. I'm actually going to suggest you, if you went with that model, that it makes sense when there's a really good business idea, because in that way I can avoid having to charge anybody custom development fees to apply my expertise to the production, the way it looks, the feeling, the marketing. But in being a partner at 50-50, I can put full attention into it. And the other part about it is that we discussed in some of our private conversations, some of you said, Spence, I'm really concerned because I have a really great idea and I don't have $5,000 to have you custom make it just for me to keep it exclusive. And I said, don't worry about that. Because yes, the $5,000 exclusivity means that I don't take a piece of it and it's all yours. But wouldn't it be better if you just came up with great ideas and you had no money and I produced it for you and we distribute it centrally, branded to you, and you shared the revenue? That doesn't seem like too bad of a deal. Or if you don't want to do that, who cares? Just join the club, the $250 a year, give the idea. I make the thing. It's a great idea. There's a general copy of it available to any clients who want to buy it or use it from my end, but you have your own branded version of that. Like the Nutritionify app was an example of it. This is one where there's components in here, and Ann and I talk all the time, like having the third-party USDA database connected to search for foods, right? Pancakes are my favorite. If I could spell them, pancakes. I wonder what the macros are on that. Like having this outside API connectivity and being able to use that to search for foods, add it to my breakfast. That's the kind of stuff I can use in a billion different ways as a tool on the shelf. I told Ann, listen, do not worry about that, because that's just like saying I'm worried because I invented a knob that turns the radio dial up and down. It's just a tool as part of a larger solution. The people who are interested in what you have to do are the ones interested in the Nutritionify brand as a whole. And so what I'm saying on a business level is there's ways for free to have things created by yourself or by me. If I create them for you and you want exclusivity, either there's going to be a revenue share or you're going to have to pay me to make it exclusive to you and kind of keep it off of the market. And I respect you guys and have a fiduciary sensibility about that. So like when I'm building custom stuff and you've got a project with me, it will be either profitable for you or not, but it's not going to be like you're just flushing money down the toilet making some oddball thing. I'm not going to let you do that. I'm not going to do that for you. All right. One of the tools that, by the way, was interesting, we were just talking about, is this feed, this YouTube feed. Now, one of the things that I feel as a business is another universal tool, because I have it myself, is I'm constantly doing research. And what occurs to me is that most of the people who are in my position, your position, audience, this was for Ann specifically, but I told her I'm building it as a global tool. We have a need to research, store, and share information about cool stuff so we can use it later, share it later, make stuff from it later. So, for example, Google Veo 3 video creation. Okay. I can search with this special tool, which is connected to all the right APIs, Google News, Google Feed, SERP, and so forth. Certain date ranges. This is like my personal search and recovery tool to find and save data. I could put specific websites here if I only wanted to search certain places, and I can save those searches. But if I search for this, what it does, and this is in lieu of me browsing every morning, is this can create kind of like my custom morning report. But because I can use the data, it can also be a research tool for future projects or content creation or for sharing with my clients, you guys, and so forth through a newsletter. This is part of this process. I'm showing you some of the tools. So what this does, it goes out and it found 10 sources on this new tool. I can preview any of these things to see. Sometimes they don't like the iframe, and we're working on that. But if I can let's just preview it like this. I can preview any of these sources quickly, see what it's about, go, oh, love that. And when I do that, I'm going to click the categorization button, right? So I can either categorize it now or I can categorize it later. Let's do it now. I just say categorize, and I can use the AI to build a summary of what the hell this thing was about. And to me, that's awesome, because what I've been doing lately is you'll laugh, I use Slack, and every time I find something interesting, I save it to Slack. But the problem with Slack is I have 10,000 things in there, and I've forgotten what's in there. This gives me automatic or manual categorization, right? I could put tags in there, VO3, and even a thumbnail about what it's about. And so what I just did here is two things. I created a source for future reference, but I also created a source that could be used for building a search result for me or for a newsletter. So notice here's like this source. Here's some other sources of things I researched. Yesterday, I was doing best steakhouses. If I do a search in the future about VO3, now it's going to find all the shit that I got about VO3, right? If I did a search about steak, it's going to find all the stuff I have about steak. And with these sources, I can build this automated newsletter generator. So, Spence steak report. And what I wanted to do was to build this so it would run automatically. And I can use the advanced filters that I built into here as well. Okay. So now what it's doing is I have to tell it what to search for. So I'm going to have it search just for steak for now. Update the preview on the right. And it should pull out the sources that match. Best steakhouses. Okay. Now, how can I distribute and share this? Immediately, I can just copy this and use this anywhere I want. HTML5. I can paste this into a website. I can put it inside of a newsletter like Fluent CRM. I can also have an LLM report, an RSS feed, an MCP feed, so that I can distribute it to another automated tool or system. And even the Fluent CRM, which I don't know if this is fully vested yet. Oh, it is. So it now created a draft. Let's see if it's there inside of Fluent CRM. And this can be used with the built-in keys that's part of the MinuteLaunch AI. And you can use the automatic scheduler as well as social media posting. So it does like every dream thing that I need, including, as I'll show you, connecting to things like my YouTube. If I go on the back end, let's see if it actually created the draft post in Fluent CRM, which I think it should have, but we'll see. I have a couple features left to fix on this. Let's see if there's a campaign here. And there it is. So guess what I'm not going to be doing anymore? I mean, I just showed you guys, I'm not going to be doing any time on researching and building how to create cool stuff, because I have an endless amount of public data that I can pre-research based upon criterion I want, save as sources, use with my tools to make automated stuff and create a draft campaign. When I talked to you a minute ago about the YouTube stuff, this to me is a game changer. So remember I just talked to you about, we have like the VEO flow. So I've got a new pipeline tool here that will connect with whatever AI criterion I want. Like I'm selling to John Lawler, who has a question about what about site memberships paywall that I'm a member of. Okay, we'll talk about that. But John Lawler wants to know about paywalls. I can have the tool automatically do research, figure out topics, get content, and then go to VEO, make the video, download the video into my WordPress site. Why? Because where I ultimately want it to go is to YouTube, which is the best publicity channel. And so in addition to getting and creating the video content here from the questions, I've got the YouTube tool here, which is a combination of things. First of all, it allows the tool to automatically create the YouTube content. So remember a second ago, we had these flow videos. Let's imagine that the first tool, the MinuteLaunch Flow, created the yoga guy. Okay, well, just download the yoga guy. Okay. The second tool, which by the way, back to the business of WordPress. When I'm showing you these are all tools that you'll have access to. When you go out to clients in this window before the choo-choo from New York gets there, You're going to show them this shit, and they're in their head going to think like, what is it, $100,000, $150,000? You're going to be like, no, we can do like maybe $5,000 for a couple videos. And shocking, because the stuff that they can do on their own doesn't even come close to this. And many of these people don't know how to do this or make this. So the window right now, before everybody has this literally at their fingertips, is like 1999 when people were charging $125,000 to make static one-page websites. Literally, that was what was happening. All right. So here, for example, I've got this connected to my YouTube channel. And all I need to do is select and upload that video that I just did. And usually the browser uploader is good because it's fast. So now I've got a temporary file in my media library of that yoga guy. Now I tell the AI, make the content about this video, right? Whatever I can tell it would be helpful, but I'll just let it do something on its own. Let's see what it does. It's so freaking awesome because it can read the content. It knows what's in here. Okay. And it can even make the title or suggest thumbnails. I'm not sure if the thumbnail selector is working yet. Let's see. I think it is. It will offer me video thumbnails from SERP. Okay. It didn't find good ones. So I'm just going to choose one. And I can do that a number of different ways. I can also use what's available to me here with Pexels. So I just get like a yoga thumbnail. Great. Now what have I got? I've got the raw ingredients automatically set up, queued up to create whatever it is that I'm doing on YouTube today, right? And so it can automatically, as it did, create the tags, the categories. It can even load my playlists. But the bottom line is I click and boom, this sucker in like a minute is set up, ready to go on YouTube. I'll show you that in a second. In the meantime, look what else I can do. I can immediately distribute it socially. Fluent CRM, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. Here's this new video you got to know about. Inside of that video, this template by mandate will be a link at the top. So I would make this part of my template, which I can also create, that says, you know, see more. I would have it look good. See more at, and then the link to the sales page that was also automatically created about what I'm selling, yoga course or the client's product or whatever. Let's take a look at YouTube. I hope I don't break this while I'm in this video. But if, yeah, I think I can get to this. Let's see. I wonder if I can do this. View your channel, switch account, YouTube Studio. Let's see if I can do this while I'm in a live event. Yeah, okay. So if we go to content, videos, there's the video. Like, come on, you guys got to understand, like normally when I set up the office hours and everything, it takes me 40 minutes of futzing around. This was designed primarily so that I can have the stuff that we're going to have in the club, which was this list that everybody's voting on, that the top item will be the topic that I will teach my tool to grab. It will then research it, find interesting stuff, write the content, maybe even make the application, then create the video in some cool animated way, then upload it and distribute it. And in doing so, what I hope to demonstrate, quite frankly, is the plumber is making his toilet into an entire business that I can hand over to you guys, including the back-end componentry that allow you to run it. Let me answer John's question real quick. What about sites behind membership paywall that I'm a member of? So I think what you're asking is, can you get to content that's behind a paywall? Can you help me? And if that's the answer to the question, I mean, the way we get to that is we have tools like Browser MCP. So the tools that are becoming available, and John, feel free to clarify, are able to browse sites. So for example, if I go to google.com, I have tools that are now becoming ubiquitous that are desktop operating system, browser, custom, that if I turn on Browser MCP here, connect, okay, I now can give access to my browser to one of those agentic programming partners, and they can search moving the mouse and do various things. Okay, good. So that's your question. So the answer is, for right now, if you don't have an API or you don't have a login or something, you may be able to pull that off using an agentic coding partner with Browser MCP, which can then log in and check out all of your stuff. And that's quite interesting because what happens there, I'm doing this while I'm programming, sometimes I have to make it obvious to the tool what it is that it's looking at, and it just can't see it unless it sees the screen. Rather than me doing a screenshot, I'll just give it browser MCP access. I'm like, just dude, look at the screen. You can see the screen. So that's how I would get to that part of it. Let me talk about a couple of the other things that are involved in this business model. Because I talked a moment ago about, hey, we're going to have like the sales pages drafted. This is a constant point of contention, which has now been put to bed 100% in my mind. There are some restrictions about login. So the current state of affairs is that people are concerned, and rightfully so, that your MCP connection is going to run away because an LLM is going to go nuts. So there are some restrictions rightfully in place to prevent things like passwords and logins, but there are tools to let you get around that if you feel comfortable with it. And I think that's useful. There are also scraper type tools that allow things to happen. Once you authorize a login and stay logged in with a cookie, it can kind of go about its business. So that's one of the ways. Lloyd brings up a great question. The way I intend to do this model initially, that's why I'm doing this club. I got to explain this in a little better way because I've been trying to build stuff and explain it, and it's really difficult because it sounds like the numbers are the same, but I wanted to keep the number simple. Maybe I'll do a whimsical on this, but let me see if I can explain. First of all, there is the base product for anybody. You guys, your clients, anybody, everybody. The base product is a hosted site on Rocket that I provide with the operating system that I'm calling this here, MinuteLaunch AI operating system. And it's a layer that's running on top of WordPress. So in other words, even though this technically looks and acts and feels like a desktop or a mobile interface operating system, it really is just running in a screen in WordPress underneath the hood here. If I went to the blog, it's still a blog underneath here. I mean, it's just WordPress under the hood. There's nothing different, okay? It's just running in a window. In order to make this easy at $25 a month, I'm including not the software bundle or spend support. I'm including the hosted box with a base set of features and components, not necessarily everything you see on the screen, so that any person can interact immediately with a built-in LLM, interact immediately with the media tools and some other basics. They can do crazy cool shit that will validate the reason to have this at all. Even if it's like the mood tracker and the calm thing or the Linktree page or the one page, even if it's any of these basic things, the point is to give somebody a tool so that they are primed and ready to pay $250 a year to you or anybody else to give them more stuff to put onto it. I am offering at a minimum profit that $250 a year, like the iPhone with the operating system. The next level up is if somebody wants the higher level software and WordPress traditional tools, the software bundle in Spence brings them into the MinuteLaunch starter, right? Startup. That's $97 a month instead of $25 a month. But any applications that are made can run at either level. It's the same thing. Now, here's where it gets a little confusing. I've asked you guys, and some of you have already joined, to join this club, even if you have the startup, to pay $250 a year to me for the first year so that you could come to my backyard and drink bourbon and use this tool at MinuteLaunch to submit all your ideas, and that you will have immediately the alpha, beta, whatever version of this it is before everybody else. So I'm asking you to pay one-time $250 so that I can have a group of people that are starting to use this and test this and make cool shit with, but you get the added benefit of you have unlimited ability to submit ideas into this vertical, what I made for John last week or the week before, the CMO voting thing. This is on MinuteLaunch, and when I launched the rest of the stuff today with the App Store and everything, this is where you'll be able to submit stuff and vote on it. I mean, not in this model, but like in the one I'll have on MinuteLaunch. And the reason is because I need a group of people that are willing to understand, first of all, hey, I know I'm early adopter, but I don't care. This is still awesome. And number two is I get a free shot at making cool stuff because instead of having to pay Spence to do this custom, I throw it in there and it becomes part of whatever it's going to be. And I think this is really the way I've done things in the past, and it works really well because your expectations are lower and in alignment with the experimental fun nature of this. Number two, your clients and customers can do this as long as they understand they're getting on a train to like an exciting place where fortunes will be made. And answering Lloyd's question, long story short, the $250 a year has what I will call open router access. I use a service which is not to me only. Open router it's essentially, I don't know, to show you all my key pages. Open router is a place where you can get a tool that allows for usage to be either metered out or globally distributed. And so instead of giving out individual keys to everybody or having you manually put it in, I can connect this and kind of keep track of it. And if somebody's meter goes like haywire, I just throttle it or shut it down automatically. And I have to see, that's why I also need a group of beta testers or alpha testers. I got to see, like, what is this going to look like? Is John Lawler going to single-handedly bankrupt Spencer Foreman through Open Router because of his clients? I don't know, maybe. But the chances are good based upon what I've been doing that this is a tool that will allow me to pretty much economically provide it. I also feel that where the LLM market is going is that all of these LLMs are racing to zero, because the end benefit is not so much from charging on the LLM, it's from what the things are that the LLMs will do. We've seen this with text messaging. Remember, I talk about this endlessly, how, hey, you got our new BlackBerry thing, it's 25 cents a text message, right? Like, that's ridiculous. Nobody would pay that today. Nobody would ask for that today. But there was a time when they were trying to monetize every text message you made. That's ridiculous. So hopefully, long story short, Lloyd answered the question. I'm going to be providing the original keys, but every one of these tools, by the way, has built into it, just like with the normal software that I write. Let's go to like the Nutrition feed. If I go in the back end, they all have the ability to replace the key with your own keys, right? Like just like we do inside of the Launch Kit, because I want this to be totally democratic. You'll also notice in the upper right corner that I've added some components, and I wish I had finished. I was working on the App Store thing, but what's going to happen is this is how we log in and out, or your clients log in and out, so that you can still offer them the use of the interface, even if they're a public visitor, but it will offer different capabilities and so forth based upon criterion like, did you buy this? Do you have a tag for this? To other applications, either as a whole for visibility or inside of them. It's the exact same metaphor we do now when we're using, tagging with the CRM. It's like you have granular level control of what people can see, when, where, and why, because sometimes you want the public to go to your public tool. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes you want them to go to a public tool to see stuff, but not to be able to use stuff like the page, not link tree. What did I call it? I called it page tree or something. Link page. Like, you want to be able to see the people's link pages, but you don't want them to necessarily be able to create them unless they're logged in and they paid you, right? So these are examples of monetizations as well. Link page is a direct knockoff of Linktree. Linktree makes like 70 million bucks a year. Now we can have a tool that you can sell individual URL pages inside of your business domain, like a directory, that could be templated for somebody to feature their business and their videos and their products or whatever. Or it could just be whatever they want to make of it. You can charge them $10 a month or $75 a year or whatever. It's an exact knockoff. So any business model, business tool that exists now can be replicated and branded and put into the site, and then you'll have the control over granular. The John says, yeah, exactly, right. 15 cents per marketing email. Can you imagine? I send out 100,000 emails today. The App Store thing is going to have a button up here right next to the controller for, customizing the header. That is, and let me see if I don't think I'm going to get this to work. So hold on. I'll see if I can put this in place. I don't think this is going to work, but since you guys are sitting here, I'll see if I can show you the preliminary of this. This is going to allow for the peer-to-peer, and no, that's not going to work. Let me see if I can do this without distracting myself too badly. This is going to allow for the peer-to-peer interactivity that will, let's say, for example, allow you to create cool stuff using the very same tools that I'm providing and then distribute it directly from your own business, which I think is going to be super awesome. If you think about it, let's say you come up with, and I give you a tool that makes really cool solutions, and it does it so well that you don't have to be a developer or coder. Why wouldn't you want to be able to just have your own app store so that your clients or customers or their clients and customers can come right to that thing and click, buy, get, put it into their device, not having to go through the ridiculous repository or going to a separate sales page or doing all the other heavy lifting. Those days are over. I'm going to put this in with let's see if it breaks the site or not. I have the latest version that my programming team came up with while I was working with you here. And let's see if this actually functions. It's the App Store Manager. And I'm not 100% this is going to work, so this may be a waste of our time. Unfortunately, I'm not showing you what I'm doing simply because to switch screens is a burden, All right, let's see. I updated that here, but I don't know if that did anything. Let's see if we go to my primary site. I'm going to go in the back end. What is essentially going to happen is this is the store. And it's got on the back end, which I'm still working on. Let's refresh the page. It's got a tool that will have front-end capability for you to use, just like I'm using here, to manage, just like posts, the things that you want to sell, right? So if I add a new app, this should be a zip file. Let's see if we got any capability here. I haven't tested this yet at all. So my new app. And we'll do something crazy. Remember, I had another tool that I built which zipped files up. Let's just call it example from Spence. And of course, we can do this via AI, but let's say this, and it's Spence. And rating is, of course, it's a 4.5. Download count. This will all be filled in automatically. Now, what I think it's got is upload the package. This is a zip file. So let me just see, for example, nothing about this is really super remarkable, but I just am showing you by way of example that it's going to be this easy for you to create, like a blog post, any kind of package. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I take one of these existing applications I've got. I know you cannot see that. I'm sorry. I'm going to take the Media Hub. Okay, so Media Hub. And what I'm going to do is compress to zip file. Okay, and I'll put this on the desktop so that I can maybe share that. Upload the file. And when I put this on the front end, it'll be much more friendly than having to do what I'm doing now. But this is a familiar metaphor for you, right? So Media Hub. I've asked this tool when it wrote the plugin to protect this so that it would not be publicly visible like normally things are inside of the WordPress repository or inside of the media library. So here I've put this, and I'll just change this to say Media Hub. And I'll give it an image because, again, I'd probably use the AI tool to make this, but we'll give it some crazy, let's give it that. Okay. And I don't know what else I need to know, but install to your MinuteLaunch system. All of this, as I say, will be as automated as that thing I just showed you with YouTube, so that you won't have to do the drudge work of filling out all the fields when you want to make a new application. The application will make all of this for you and the thumbnail, guaranteed. Okay, so let's see what happens. I'm going to save this. I'm going to go back and see if it shows up, because then the issue is I have another file that will connect the other store to this. Should be able to see it. But what I'm looking at is, so we've got a custom post type, and that's it. Right now, this is just in place. Let me ask or look real quick whether or not upload, store files, download, install. And I don't know. Here's the interface. I do not know, but I think it didn't explain me, so I'm not going to be able to show you this maybe. When we have this app store and we want to share the stuff, it's going to output essentially like a stream of data, a JSON, to anybody who hits up this website as the source. There will be a selector for you and everybody else, much like the media library, to choose which sites you want to go to, which stores you want to go to, like peer-to-peer. And from those stores, it will just essentially show a grid of these are the things you can click and download. I had something that was running that was like a janky example of this. I'll try to show it to you if it's still here. And I don't know if this is going to be any benefit though, but let's just say, hold on. I have so many like really cool experiments running that sometimes I just lose the screen, which I kind of did now. Let me see if I can show it before we wrap this up. Oh, here's the screen that's got all the goodies on it. Okay. So sorry about this, guys. My endless windows open. Here is, let me see if this works. No, it's not worth showing you right now. I'm going to have to come back to that one. So let me bring this one home because I feel like we're at an hour and I don't want to belabor the point. Where are we at with the MinuteLaunch software in general? The interface, loving it. I've been using it. I've been building a dozen or so apps. The sales page for you guys and everybody else to understand it so that you can get your clients on board, loving it. The app store part of it likely will come out when I release this. For those of you who have already purchased the $250 a year, join this club, you will have your stuff somewhere between now and maybe tomorrow. But like, if I'm lucky today, I will release and put this stuff out there in a way that you can get instructions from me on how to start using it, including the core apps. In general, what I'm also asking is for you guys to participate by, if we go over here and you just go to WP Launchify, this is going to be on the front page as a sales page. But if you just go to WP Launchify and you want to get on board the club and participate with this stuff now, today, what I'm showing you, I'm going to put this on the front page, but you'll just go to the shop if you go there right this moment and do the MinuteLaunch AI annual. Here's the link. This is not a replacement for your 97 startup. This is an additional thing if you want to join this club where you'll be able to, again, get access to the immediate stuff for yourself and your clients, submit unlimited ideas, vote, discuss, join the cocktail party, so that when I start building this stuff out fast and furious, you can be a participant to get the benefit of it without having to wait till it's ready for prime time. What I have found, to wrap up on the business end, is happening in my conversations, and Lloyd has a good question I'll answer too. In my conversations with clients, I had several customers yesterday, cold, who came in with problems that you'd expect. I'm using HubSpot and I have a membership site with LearnDash. And then I found out from this one lovely person that she was spending $40,000 a year on HubSpot for a charitable company. I'm like, whoa. The business you're in is to listen, look, feel around for businesses that are in the old world, and you've got this new world, and these tools will get you to the new world. With my direct help or without my direct help, you will be able to offer them solutions for their own business to offer things in a new and unique way with many of these applications and custom web applications, or through things that make them money, like if they're a provider of services, giving the things to their customers to do, like I'm a yoga instructor and all my students can like report and track on what they're doing, pay for my lessons, ask me to do stuff. A doctor, a nutritionist, an accountant, a lawyer, any of these things have the tools in place that you essentially become multi-level marketers to show them, I've got a solution for how all of your business can run, mobile friendly, for you to save a ton of money, make a ton of money by doing it the new way. But also, your clients now have a tool that they will want and use that benefits them, they will pay for, and you can be in that revenue stream because the things we make will be things that they will buy and use as apps, right? So if you conceive of that, you will succeed in enormous ways. by taking ordinary people that are already around you and offering them this thing that the train has not come from New York yet to make it mainstream. To them, this is going to be voodoo magic, especially the stuff when it comes to like producing content, as I started this morning, doing the marketing, doing the emails. They don't ever have to do this again. And when you talk about like the lady with the $40,000 HubSpot account, I could save her $35,000 right off the bat by converting her to the system, even with a $5,000 setup. So you can be in the business of doing $5,000 setups as well, because there's nothing that you have to reinvent. You're just literally taking a TV dinner out of the freezer, putting their name on it, and reinventing it. My benefit to service you and them is that I'm providing the platform onto which you're providing your services and your custom ideas and apps. And so we both win in that regard, because it eliminates all of the hard spots for you. And yet, under the hood, it's 100% the ownership and control and guarantees of WordPress. If anybody wanted to leave at any time, they can, and everything will function just the same, except the operating system. I'm not distributing or using the operating system so that I avoided being in the like a question of open source on that, because it has to run in a way that I can manage and maintain the functionality. I just thought about it a million times, and there's no other way to do that. I'm supposing that's what Steve Jobs did from the beginning of the Apple stuff. But you can still make and use any applications for free. Okay, Lloyd, when will the beta version be available? Between now and hopefully later today, if I'm in the mood, or definitely by Saturday. I have this ready to go. I can give you right now without the App Store, but I really want to put the App Store in, because the App Store part means that you or I can distribute things with one click. So somebody can start with like a blank screen and start adding what they want, or you can give them a blank screen and then like choose this stuff or that stuff as an array. I'd love to get that going, and I believe I'll get it done with the help of my team here between now and sometime over the weekend, but I think more like today. That's what I'm shooting for. So if you would go ahead and join, pay the $250, you will be the first one to get this. And if you don't, ask me for the money back. I'll give you your money back. But like nobody's ever asked me for money back, because I always try to over deliver and under promise. This I'm demonstrably showing you exists. I just need to work on the App Store part, but the interface part is, I'm loving it. I'm killing it. And for that, one last thing was like, even a simple thing like Dr. Krieger had asked last week, and we built that tool. He has a client who has a simple need. All she needed was a way to just have a website that has a custom landing page, a sales page. And I showed you this infinite ways. The AI does a better job of creating sales pages. Here's a sales page that's made by, and ignore this bar at the top. That's just on because I'm in the admin mode for me. This sales page was made, it looks exactly like Cadence. I mean, I made it monochromatic because she just wants to have like a front page, a sales page, whatever. I said the AI tool can be created, as I did, to make this. And then she wanted to be able to have like a blog post with faceted search. So we created this off the cuff, this blog showcase. This eliminates all the pain in the ass of like customization, because see, she can just make simple customizations here or click the full settings button. And within the realm of a mere mortal business owner, be done. Compare that to dicking around in the back of WordPress with Cadence even and trying to set it up. And when she's done, here's the best part. No facet WP required, no ACF fields required, no other complex search tools required. We have a faceted thing that pulls out instantly any related post, either by searching for words or categories or dates, right? Incredibly fast, incredibly simple, mobile responsive. And the videos on the end or whatever else you put on the end, format exactly as you want with the underlying theme. So this is an example of how immediately a low-cost customer for $250 a year, charge them $300 a year, take $50 for yourself, $250 for the base, and then do services for them. Do the newsletter thing, do the promotion thing, do the YouTube thing. Charge them for the service because it takes you 5 minutes. Put a Tranquil app on there. You see, this is a model. Once they have the base, I'm happy. I run the platform. You can do an unlimited number of things to make money for the customer using this new setup, because it is not going to drag you down. It's never going to give you up. It's never going to take you down. This is the way we're going to solve our problems. And nobody has to be an AI expert, because I'm going to bring you into this world and I'm going to keep making this new stuff because I'm financially incentivized. I'm emotionally, I'm morally incentivized to service this. This like makes me happy as a kid in a toy store, versus another video about how we're going to take an hour now to learn how to set up the 57 menus of ACF Pro with Cadence. Hope you guys have an amazing Friday, an even better weekend. I hope you will join me and click and join. Even if you are a member of everything I've got, join this club. Get your clients to join this club. Dr. Krieger is just have his client paying him. So the client's paying $250. They're in the club. They're getting the site. He's doing the services on top. He's happy as a bug in a rug. Somewhere traveling around Southeast Asia, having fun. Hope you guys have an amazing time. Love you to death. Super chuffed. Let's do this. Talk to you guys soon.